Welcome back, Cowboys Nation. Today, we're diving deep into the ongoing contract saga that has been keeping fans on edge this offseason. The latest move was the extension of Jake Ferguson. Finally getting that done, but it's clear the Cowboys are far from finished when it comes to locking down key players. What's interesting about the Ferguson deal is how much remains under wraps officially. It's a 4-year contract with a max value somewhere around $52 million, though some sources have mentioned $50 million. The guaranteed money is supposedly in the $30 million range, but here we are, several days past the announcement, and the finer details are still a bit fuzzy. That's unusual for a team like Dallas, which usually spills all the numbers pretty quickly. So, questions remain. What does this contract mean in terms of cap space? How does the yearly average actually break down? When exactly can the player opt out, if at all? These are all details fans and analysts alike are eager to dissect. Now, with that in mind, how do you grade the Ferguson deal? Is it a win for the Cowboys? Did they get enough value, or did they perhaps overpay for the position? Drop your thoughts, because this contract sets the tone for what could be a busy stretch of negotiations. From comments by team executives, it's clear the Cowboys are actively working on multiple extensions. Stephen Jones recently hinted that more deals could be on the horizon. He acknowledged that while they don't like to talk about contracts until they're finalized, the groundwork has been laid for more agreements. There's that sense of cautious optimism. Everyone wants the paperwork completed, but no one wants to rush and leave loose ends. Brian Schottenheimer, fresh off announcing the Ferguson extension, also chimed in on the status of ongoing talks. He made it clear that the organization is hoping to get several players signed soon, framing it as a successful camp if they manage to extend multiple contracts. This paints a picture of a front office eager to settle these business matters early, to allow the team to focus fully on football. But how many more extensions will the Cowboys actually get done? That remains the million-dollar question. Are we going to see a flurry of deals before the preseason, or will these negotiations drag on like some of the ones from past years? Speaking of which, let's jump into the biggest name on everyone's contract radar, Micah Parsons. The defensive end has been the center of attention all offseason, and rightfully so. His name has become synonymous with most obvious extension candidate around here. Much like what happened with CeeDee Lamb last year, the question isn't if Parsons will get paid, but when, and that when has been stretched out longer than most expected. The reality with Parsons is this: his deal will be expensive. He's projected to eclipse TJ Watt as the highest paid non-quarterback defender in the league. This is no surprise, because the same chatter surrounded him beating out Jamar Chase and Myles Garrett's contracts when those negotiations were heating up. This is the big money tier, and Parsons belongs in it. The Cowboys and Parsons camp have been locked in a back and forth, dragging things out, causing frustration among fans and insiders alike. It feels like deja vu, with every new contract seeming to take forever. The assumption now is that Parsons will eventually sign a deal that surpasses Garrett's, especially in terms of guaranteed money. It has to be noted that Garrett holds the record for highest guaranteed money for non-quarterbacks, so Parsons is expected to set a new bar. From what we can tell, the Cowboys are playing the same cautious game they have before, waiting for all the perfect conditions before sealing the deal. It's baffling to some, because many believe this contract could have been finalized months ago. Yet here we are, approaching the preseason, and the ink is still not dry. The extension drama has become part of the narrative surrounding the Cowboys every offseason. Whether it's Lamb, Ezekiel Elliott, or now Parsons, the big question on everyone's mind is whether Dallas will get this done before the preseason wraps up. Is it just a matter of time, or are there genuine roadblocks? Moving on to other players who are in the mix for new deals. Donde Bland is another name worth watching. His situation is a bit more complex. The Cowboys have been working on an extension with him, and there have been some positive signals from Bland's camp. The player himself has expressed his desire to remain in Dallas, which is always a good start. But unlike Parsons, Bland's market is less clear. The cornerback position is tricky, because there's a big difference between what a nickel corner earns versus an outside corner. The market values for those roles can vary dramatically, sometimes doubling from one role to the other. The Cowboys are navigating this uncertainty while also juggling the fact that they have already committed to Trayvon Diggs, who is expected to move on next season. They need to figure out whether Bland fits better as a nickel corner or if he should be paid as an outside corner, and that decision could have a huge financial impact. Adding to the complexity is the comparison with other corners in the league. For example, Trent McDuffie's upcoming deal is a benchmark for Bland. But they are different players with different skill sets. McDuffie isn't necessarily an interception machine, but his playmaking ability is significant. The Cowboys have to weigh whether Bland's contract should exceed McDuffie's, or if they can negotiate something more modest. This kind of position market ambiguity makes the Bland extension a bit more challenging, and it might take longer to resolve than Parsons' deal. Still, the hope is that Dallas can find common ground and lock Bland up sooner rather than later. If that happens early, it would be a huge win for the Cowboys front office. Another player whose extension talks are stirring some buzz is Tyler Smith. The situation here is somewhat more straightforward compared to Bland, but given Dallas' history with slow negotiations, nothing is guaranteed. The Cowboys have the 5th-year option on Smith's contract for next season, which reduces immediate pressure to finalize a long-term deal. Still, Smith is undeniably a key piece of the team's offensive line. Comparisons to Trey Smith's recent extension give us some insight into what Tyler Smith's contract might look like. Trey Smith inked a 4-year deal worth $94 million, averaging nearly $24 million per year, with $70 million guaranteed. Trey's extension had a hard deadline with the franchise tag window, which has since passed, adding urgency to that negotiation. For Tyler Smith, the Cowboys could save money by getting a deal done now instead of letting the 5th-year option kick in, which is somewhat inflated due to the NFL's odd rules for offensive line options. Paying him early would not only secure a core player, but also provide cap benefits down the line. Despite Dallas' preference for patience, smart teams recognize that locking in foundational players early tends to pay off in the long run. Smith fits into that category. The Cowboys have made progress with his agent, and given his importance to the roster, an extension could be on the horizon. Still, with the way things have gone with other players, patience remains the default. Now, the kicker position brings a unique wrinkle into these discussions. Brandon Aubrey, who is only in his 2nd or 3rd year with the Cowboys, is eligible for an extension sooner than usual because he was an undrafted free agent. Normally, players have to wait 3 years before negotiating a big deal, but Aubrey's path is different. He has been a revelation for Dallas, arguably one of the best kickers in the league, making him a rare talent the Cowboys want to keep around. The team has several options for his contract status, including first-round tender offers, second-round tenders, or franchise tags. These come with price tags ranging from around $3.5 million to nearly $8 million per year, with the franchise tag being even higher. Interestingly, the highest-paid kicker in the league right now earns just over $6 million, which is less than the franchise tag price for a kicker, making this an unusual situation. Dallas tends to avoid franchise tags because they limit flexibility, but given Aubrey's importance and unique contract timeline, they might consider it. Ultimately, the question is whether the Cowboys will make him the highest-paid kicker to keep him in Dallas, or manage his salary differently. The kicker market is always an odd beast in the NFL, and Aubrey's case exemplifies that perfectly. One more player to keep an eye on is wide receiver George Pickens. Represented by a notable agent, his situation has drawn comparisons to the Micah Parsons saga. There are low expectations for an early extension here, as both sides seem content to let things play out a bit longer. The Cowboys want to see how Pickens fits into their offense, while Pickens is likely weighing his options to maximize his contract value. Waiting it out could result in a bigger payday later, either with Dallas or elsewhere. This cautious approach seems mutual and reflects a pragmatic understanding of how contract negotiations often play out. But before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the Dallas Cowboys. Feel free to share your thoughts on the news in the comments as well. Breaking news is sending shockwaves through the NFL. The Dallas Cowboys may be on the verge of a stunning acquisition that could redefine their quarterback landscape. Rumors are swirling that the Cowboys are eyeing Gabriel, the talented signal caller from the Cleveland Browns, for a potential high-profile move. While nothing is confirmed yet, this possible transfer has ignited a firestorm of speculation and excitement among fans, analysts, and insiders alike. Gabriel, a name that has been steadily rising in NFL conversations, has showcased flashes of brilliance during his time with the Browns. Known for his sharp decision-making and dynamic playstyle, Gabriel has been viewed as a promising young quarterback, with the potential to develop into a franchise cornerstone. The fact that the Cowboys, one of the most iconic and scrutinized franchises in the league are reportedly interested in acquiring him, is already enough to cause a buzz across the football world. The Cowboys' current quarterback situation has been a topic of intense debate in recent months. While they have a talented roster and a strong offensive line, questions about their signal caller's consistency and long-term viability have lingered. Entering the conversation is Dillon Gabriel, whose skill set could address several of Dallas's needs. Sources hint that the Cowboys' front office has been closely monitoring Gabriel's progression, and talks may have advanced to the point where a trade or signing is being seriously considered. Speculation is mounting on what such a move would mean for both teams. For the Browns, who have invested heavily in their offensive core, the possible departure of Gabriel would signal a significant shift. It could indicate a change in their quarterback strategy or open the door for other emerging talents within their ranks. For Dallas, acquiring a young, promising quarterback like Gabriel might be the spark needed to elevate the franchise back into serious Super Bowl contention. The buzz doesn't stop there. Some insiders suggest the Cowboys might be preparing a package that could include draft picks or other assets to secure Gabriel's transfer. The implications of such a deal are vast, potentially reshaping the balance of power in the NFC and beyond. Fans of both teams are eagerly watching for official announcements, but for now, it remains a tantalizing possibility, a rumor that could transform the NFL landscape. This potential move aligns with a broader trend seen across the league, where teams are aggressively pursuing youthful quarterbacks to build around for the future. Gabriel fits the mold perfectly, a player with raw talent, poise under pressure, and room to grow. If the Cowboys do make this bold move, it would not only be a strategic gamble, but also a clear signal of intent to compete at the highest level. Analysts are already debating how Gabriel's style of play would mesh with the Cowboys' offensive scheme. Known for his mobility and accuracy, Gabriel could bring a new dimension to Dallas's attack, complementing their powerful running game and talented receivers. The excitement surrounding this potential acquisition is palpable, with many envisioning a quarterback battle or even a full transition in Dallas's offensive leadership. As the NFL offseason progresses, the rumor mill is heating up. Will the Cowboys follow through on this blockbuster move and land Dillon Gabriel? Could this be the next great quarterback saga of the league? Only time will tell. But one thing is clear, the NFL is bracing for a possible shakeup, and the Cowboys are at the center of it all. Stay tuned as this story develops, because if the whispers are true, the Dallas Cowboys bringing in Dillon Gabriel could become one of the most talked about moves of the year, one that could shift power, passion, and the very future of the storied franchises. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the Dallas Cowboys, please subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. We always look forward to your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.